Well, after that, ladies and gentlemen, a very warm welcome to each and everybody here. On behalf of our youth ministry team, I truly warmly welcome you all here to St. Clair's for our JP2 parish celebration for our young group from 2021 to 2022. Before Christmas, many of you received your medal from Bishop Dennis at our diocesan ceremony, where he commended you for your achievements in the past year. Now it is our chance to acknowledge your commitment to our parish and the wider community over the past 1 to 2 years. This evening, all of you, your commitment, your involvement, your ministry, your faith, may this evening bring you on a reflective journey back through your JP2 experience in Greycullen and Collection Parish. I ask you now please to join me in our opening prayer. St. John Paul, from the window of heaven, grant us your blessing. Bless the church that you loved, served and guided, courageously leading her along the paths of the world in order to bring Jesus to everyone and everyone to Jesus. Bless all young people who, with your great passion, help them dream, help them look up to the heavens and find the light that illuminates the paths of life here on earth. St. John Paul, may you bless and protect each and every family and every life that blossoms from the family. St. John Paul, from heaven's window, where we see you beside Mary, sends God's blessing down upon us all. Amen.
In Ireland, over 35,000 young people have achieved their Pope John Paul II award to date. This award is in memory of Pope St. John Paul II, but in honour of young people. The award aims to encourage and enable young people to play an active role in their parish and local community. Through the award, young people are encouraged to support and volunteer with local charities and projects in the local community, as well as, of course, getting involved in parish ministry. Here are just some of the activities that our young people have been involved in.
Cleaning the church, polishing and vacuuming.
Stewarding before, during and after Mass.
Reading scripture or intercessions at Mass.
Singing and playing music in our youth and children's choir.
Setting up for Holy Hour.
Helping with celebrations for 200 years of Holy Cross Church.
Operating Facebook Live and PowerPoint slides at Mass.
Helping with Christmas decorations in our churches.
Helping with our carol services.
Dressing up as an elf for Christmas Masses.
Helping with the November Remembrance Masses.
Helping with preparations for the annual Infancy Loss Remembrance Service.
Making St. Bridget's crosses for our parishioners.
Making exam prayer cards.
Ministers of Holy Communion.
Handing out our kids' bulletins at Mass.
Helping with Holy Week ceremonies.
Helping with First Confession, Communions and Confirmation ceremonies.
Always being on hand to respond to a WhatsApp request for help in the centre.
Our Sunday school leaders.
And finally, what they spend most of their time doing, helping Isabel with whatever new idea she comes up with each week.
We challenge our young people to go beyond their comfort zone on a journey of self-discovery. We challenge them to give up their time, their talents, and their social skills for the well-being of others, in the hope that it will deepen their faith. The message and vision of Pope St. John Paul II inspired young people of all ages, throughout his lifetime, and his legacy now lives on in this award. Each year, JP2 participants grow in confidence and gain new experiences while living out the gospel message of service. It's important to remind ourselves of the person to whom this award is attributed, Karol Wojtyła, or as we now know him, St. John Paul II. This award is in memory of him, but in honour of young people and all the goodness they have to offer this world. Let's learn, or remind ourselves, hopefully, of just a little about the person of JP2.
Pope Francis has recently proclaimed Karol Wojtyła, better known as Pope John Paul II, a saint. This is one of the quickest elevations to sainthood in centuries. But what did he do? What was it that made John Paul II a saint? Maybe because he was a man who had suffered a lot, but never gave up hope. Karol's family died when he was young. He lost his mother before he was 10. When he was 12, his brother died. And finally at 21, he lost his father too. His homeland was attacked by the Nazis in 1939, and his country was conquered. Then conquered again by the Soviet Red Army in 1945. Or maybe it was because of his great culture and humanity. John Paul II was passionate about life. He loved sports and the beauty of the outdoors. Even as cardinal, he continued to ski and kayak. He loved poetry and was an actor, dreaming of life in theater. Under the Nazi regime, he worked hard in a quarry and came to know the life of a laborer. He was also exceptionally bright and thrived as both an academic and charismatic teacher whose classrooms overflowed with young students. Or maybe because he traveled so much and reached out to so many people. Pope John Paul II was extremely active. He made 250 pastoral visits throughout the world to a total of 129 countries and wrote 14 encyclicals. The Pope started the tradition of World Youth Day, participating in 9 of them himself, bringing together millions of young Catholics who were so inspired by him that they became known as the JP2 generation. Or perhaps because he was a champion of human rights. During his days in Poland, he witnessed firsthand the consequences of oppressive governments that took the lives of the weak and defenseless. These experiences inflamed in him an ardent conviction to fight against ideologies. Thanks to this, he played a key role in bringing down the Iron Curtain, and with it, the collapse of the Soviet Union. Now, certainly, all of these things are important, but aren't we forgetting the most essential element? John Paul II is being named a saint above all because he placed Christ at the center of his life and accepted the great mission that Christ offered him every day with love and hope. JP2 certainly underwent a lot of suffering. It was his father's faith and life of prayer that were like a first seminary for him. Witnessing the sacrifices made by his friends and countrymen in the face of great persecution, even to the point of giving their lives, he learned to trust that hope was stronger than fear and love stronger than death. He lived this lesson when an attempt was made on his life. With hope, he overcame the fear and agony of those days, and with love, he sought out the man who had shot him to personally forgive him. JP2 wasn't just active. He was deeply apostolic in everything he did. He knew that the crowds that came weren't there just because of him, but rather because people really hungered for God. As a champion of human rights, JP2 fought for the unborn, the sick, the elderly, the poor, and the oppressed. Above all, though, he fought for the right to believe. He knew that a world without God is a world without joy, without beauty, without true humanity. John Paul II invited us to open wide the doors to Christ. He told us not to be afraid, to welcome him into our lives, our families, and our societies. because Christ knows us better than any other. He knows the desires of our hearts, and only He is able to fulfill those desires. John Paul II knew that Christ called him to serve, and so he poured out all of his gifts and talents, his strength and his health to the very end to show us Christ. And that is why we celebrate him now as Saint John Paul II. Christ was the center of his life. He was his joy, his strength, and his greatest love.
I now invite Father John to come forward to address you all, but mainly our recipients tonight, before our presentation of medals and certificates begin.
That's very formal to address you all, but anyway, welcome, and it's lovely to see our young people, families, teachers from our schools present as well. I'm quite old, as you can imagine, but I was part of the John Paul II generation, because I was a student when John Paul II came to Ireland, and I was in the Phoenix Park, and with over 1 million people gathered, also in Galway and then in Maynooth. But I heard him saying in Galway, "Young people of Ireland, I love you." And then in 1982, just after he was shot, the first gathering he had in Rome was to a group of Irish young people, pilgrims. It was in about 2,500 people said, "We'll go back to Rome and tell Pope John Paul II that we love him too." And it was the return visit, it was called. And that's me there, young, 21 I think I was then, and I was a seminarian, and I had the privilege of holding the book when John Paul II was speaking at the Mass, and he spoke to me and he asked me my name. Where did I study? I said Maynooth, and he said, I've been to that place. So I think I was the only one he stopped to talk to, but it was a huge thrill for me. But it was also a part of the Irish church at that time was alive with young people, and they were getting involved in parishes. It was just a great time to be part of church in Ireland. And, you know, in recent years, things have been different, and we know that there's lots of people out there trying to build a secular society where there's no room for God or Jesus or his church or whatever. And yet I still feel, and I still look at our young people, and I see such tremendous hope. Just for instance, last Sunday morning now, I do have 3 masses every Sunday morning, and I was going out to say the 9 o'clock Mass, and I got a text. And the text was from Dubai, from one of our young people who had gone out there to teach. She was very much part of our youth ministry when she was here. And she just said, "I'm watching you from Dubai. I'm joining you for Mass." And I thought, wasn't that fabulous that one of our young people who was very involved, now gone on her own journey, but still Mass was important to her. So that gave me a great lift. And then after the 11:30 Mass here, I went into a meeting in one of the rooms in the parish centre. And there's a wonderful group of young people, and they were being addressed by Isabel and Sarah and Katrina and others. And there were a group of young people who are now become young adults, I should say. And they are this summer going to Lourdes to work. And I'm going with them for a few days retreat before they start into their work at Lourdes. And they're doing it because of their faith commitment. So this was people, young people who came up to the system, very much actively involved, got their John Paul II awards, and now faith is so important that they want to live that faith by going out to help in Lourdes as part of that. And I just said, wow, that is some commitment, and it's wonderful to see. And, you know, I'm just saying to our young people, and as I always do, don't do it just for the reward, for the award, or for the medal, or for the cert that you're going to get, or whatever. Do it because of the person of Jesus that John Paul there really emphasized and stressed to all the young people. And today is the feast of the conversion of St. Paul the Apostle. And I'm just doing a study at the moment. I've just finished the Acts of the Apostles and the readings of St. Paul, and I've really got to know him and to love him. And his conversion was very dramatic. If you don't know it, he was persecuting the early Christians when the Christian churches was being formed. And then he was persecuting them, and he was going to Damascus to bring home a pile of them to be executed in Jerusalem. And he saw this light, and he heard his voice, and he fell off his horse. And the voice was Jesus saying, "I am Jesus, why are you persecuting me?" And he saw that as a sign. And St. Paul then was converted. He became a Christian. And he became a Christian to us, to the Gentiles, to the people, non-Jews. And he did all of these trips. He did his journeys around the Mediterranean, Asia Minor, Greece, Malta, and all those places. And his writings were just amazing because he says, you know, he was persecuted, he was flogged, he was beaten, he was put in prison, but he still persisted. But he said, you know, to really to be a good Christian, you have to suffer persecution. And that's something that struck with me, that in the world today too, it's difficult, very difficult to be a Christian. I know some of our young people going to college and were slagged or even turned against because they admitted that they go to Mass. So there is a sense of persecution out there, but that should make you all the stronger, because like St. Paul, it made him stronger. And he always says, if you boast about your faith in Jesus. And that's, he said, what kept him going. And he talked about the Spirit, and about the Spirit that comes into him to help him to do that. So I think that's something I would say to you tonight, guys, as well. You know, boast about your faith. Don't be afraid. Also to encourage you to continue on in your journey as well. And you know, if you're not at ministry, still, like the most powerful people who come to Mass are the people who come every Sunday. They're not involved in any of the ministries, but they come to worship with the community because they feel that's what Jesus wants them to do, and to get peace, to get nourishment through his word and through the Eucharist or wherever. So even if you're not ministering, on the Sunday morning or Saturday night, you know, tell your families or tell your friends, I'm not ashamed, I'm going to Mass. I'm going to listen to God speak to me, and I'm going to be nourished by the Eucharist, the bread of life. And you know, sadly as well, you know, we're on this synodal journey in our church at the moment too, and we're going into a completely different time. People saying the church is dying, and I feel it's not dying. It's just going to a different phase. And it'll probably be a church where there's much, much less priests, maybe even none in some parishes after a while. But that means the Christian community can grow in another way, just like the early Christians. They still gathered to celebrate. They appointed people among themselves to preside over the Eucharist, and they celebrated, and they kept Christian faith alive. And more we're going to be looking to young people, to lay people, to keep the parish communities alive. Not to chop and cut and join together, but actually to keep the local church alive through your ministry and through your faith. And so I'm really very, very honoured to be in this parish where there's so many young people involved. In fact, I know so many people do constantly say it, you know, you're blessed that so many young people involved, and I am. And it's you, young people, that are the present and the future of our parish. And I want to thank you for your commitment to your parish. Every Mass I celebrate, when I see you involved, or in anything involved in any part of the parish, I'm not just proud, but it just does my heart so good. It helps me celebrate the Eucharist so much better as well. So I want to thank you most sincerely for your dedication and your service to our parish.
For me, staying involved with my parish even after JP2 was very important for multiple reasons. Making new friends, building a deeper and stronger connection with God, learning new things I didn't know I could learn. Through service, I found my purpose, and I feel happy knowing I'm a part of something that's making the difference.
For me, I really love being involved in the parish for the sense of friendship and community that it gives me. When I first got involved, I very much saw it as an opportunity to make friends and explore my faith, and very much I was successful in both of those things. Friendships I made in TY are still as strong now in my first year of college and my faith journey has massively excelled. I love walking into that church, and every time I do, I walk out with this big massive smile on my face, regardless of what mood I went in. I really love being involved, and I hope you do too.
Staying connected with your local parish after the JP2 award is very important, as you can still make new experiences, meet new people, and stay involved with your community.
I stay involved in the parish for many reasons, but one of the reasons is because I really enjoyed the real sense of community in the parish, and I find it is hard to find that anywhere else. I'm currently studying in college in Cork, and one of the main things I miss about home is my parish involvement, and the sense of community in the parish at home is nothing like anywhere down here.
The reason I stayed involved after receiving my John Paul II awards was because it helped me to help people in my parish, and because of the wonderful sense of community in the Great Cullen Collection parish. This helped me to meet new people with shared values from all different backgrounds. Of course, Great Cullen Collection parish has an amazing atmosphere, and I got to make lots of new friends. Within the parish, there is plenty of opportunities for faith, friends, food and fun, as I'm sure many of you have heard. And staying involved in my parish helped me to give back to the community. Within this parish and community, I have seen firsthand so many role models. And with me staying involved in the parish, hopefully someday I will get to be a role model to somebody else.
You're all very well behaved. You're very quiet indeed. Feel free to be a little bit louder at this next part, because there will be movement naturally, because it is the reason you're here, among others. But the main reason you're here is, of course, to receive your silver, gold or papal cross JP2 award certificate. And I'm aware that some of you also have to receive your medal, and so that's absolutely fine. If you don't, thank you, Sarah. If you haven't got a medal with you, that's absolutely fine. We have one for your photo, if that's because you left it at home. If you haven't received it, we'll also, Father John will present that to you as well. Sarah knows what's happening, I don't. So is that all right with everybody? So when you come forward, bring your medal if you have one. If you've yet to receive it, just let us know when you get up here. We do have a list, but we're not that good. We sometimes make mistakes, as you know. And then John, our trusty photographer, will be here in the centre to take your individual photo yourself, along with Father John, and just open up your medal and then just keep your certificate closed. So you'll have two things in your, just like so, okay, for your photo. Then for those from the Pres and from Leo's, I'm going to ask you, we'll call you up in groups, so you can just step to the side, and then once the group has gotten all the individual medals and photos taken, we'll put you back up on the steps of the altar, and then any school representatives are welcome to come up then and take those photos, because then they can go in and get their cup of tea a bit quicker afterwards. And then after all of the individual photos have happened, we'll take one big group photo, and then anyone who doesn't want to get a family photo or anything like that at the end can go straight in for their tea. Is that all right? So of course, John has nowhere else to be. He's here for the night. So family photos or friend groups or whatever you want to do, those variations can happen afterwards. But for now, it's just individual and school group photos, and then our full parish photo. Is that okay? Right. I will ask that you come up the centre aisle, and then if you're waiting for a group photo, just step to the side. And if not, you can go back down the centre aisle or go back around. Just no pressure. Nice and easy going. All right? Let me see. Anything else? No, I think that's everything, but we do need someone else. So, Father John, would you like to come up and actually present the medals, please, if you don't mind? Isabel is probably going to disappear at some point, I imagine. Isabel, would you just come into the centre for a sec, if you don't mind? So Isabel has been very busy all day preparing your refreshments in the parish centre. So you're very free to go now. You're very welcome to go, but we want to say a big thank you to you in advance of that. She thought she was getting a medal. No, you've already got your Ben Morenti. That's enough. We have nothing above that. Thanks, Isabel. You're more than welcome to stay, but I know you do want to stay. Okay. first. We're going to start with recipients who are also from Presentation College. So, Alex Halpin, can you please make your way forward to receive your silver medal, please? Amy Keating. Amy, make your way forward for your gold medal, please, and your gold certificate. So, Alex, you can just step over to the side here, just over here. Thanks a million. Well done, Amy. And then next we have Anna Miller. Anna is receiving her gold certificate. She has her medal. Annie Sheehan, not Ava. Annie Sheehan, gold medal. And Ava Sheehan, also receiving her gold medal. This is the only time we've ever noticed which one's which. Danielle O'Driscoll, receiving her gold medal. Rachel Hand, receiving her gold award as well. Claire Miller, receiving her Papal Cross. And Megan Hosey, also receiving her Papal Cross. I'm going to invite Miss Gillespie and Miss Byrne to come forward now, because we're going to form the group photo for Presentation College ASCA. After Megan gets her photo, obviously, but you can come on forward. Well done to everyone from Presentation College ASCA. And now we're moving on to the group from St. Leo's. So, you know how it goes. We're going to begin with Aveen Lamb, and she's receiving her silver medal and certificate. I should have apologised in advance for the sore hands from all the clapping. Please feel free to refrain until the end of the group, maybe. There's 6 more to go, so save your hands for now. Ava Hernan, receiving her silver medal and award certificate. Make your way forward, Ava. And then next we have Rachel Bello, receiving her silver medal as well. She might also collect her sister Sarah's silver medal and certificate as well. Well done, Rachel. And next we have Lily Redmond, receiving her gold medal and gold award certificate. Next we have Patricia Igamasoy, receiving her gold award and gold certificate. Well done, Patricia. You swap it. We wouldn't dare give you silver. You've earned your gold. She's here stewarding every weekend. She deserves the gold, definitely. Sally Matthews. Here, here to receive her gold award and gold certificate. Please make your way forward, Sally. Ava McCutcheon, please make your way forward to receive your Papal Cross medal and certificate. And Ellen Redmond from St. Leo's also, who has now moved on to college, which is receiving her Papal Cross medal and certificate as well. And while we're just waiting on the last group photo, I will mention those who could not be here but were at their diocesan ceremony, so they have been celebrated. And that's Rachel Bellow, who's receiving her silver medal, I'm sure, or Sarah Bellow, sorry, and Rachel has received that for her. And then Emma Walsh received her gold, Jessica Corposh received her gold also, and Amy Nolan received her Papal Cross. Okay, well done to all. And we'll get a group photo with all reps from St. Leo's as well to come forward, please. Well done to all the girls from St. Leo's College. Can I invite Roisin McHugh, please, to come forward to receive her Papal Cross Award and certificate from the Gael Colosh de Carlock. And I invite Jack King from Tyndall College to come forward also. Jack is receiving his Papal Cross medal, sporting a lovely new haircut, I see. Looking very well. Well done, Jack. And now I ask Ewan Morrissey to come forward to receive his silver medal and certificate. And Ewan is from Knockbeg College. We'll ask any of the Knockbeg lads to step over to the side as well for a little group photo afterwards. We're missing a few tonight, but we'll take whoever's here. So you step to the side, good man. And then James Hovenden for his gold award, for a certificate and medal. Also from Knockbeg College. John Peary. Make your way forward, please, John. Like you're on the catwalk again. John is receiving his gold award. He's here most mornings at 9 a.m. doing the slides of mass. People have always asked me from Knockbeg, how did John get that medal? I said, well, if you get up at 9 o'clock in the morning on a Sunday, then you get a medal as well. He absolutely earned it. The three of you can come forward. We're missing Ty Cronin and Daniel Brennan. Daniel's receiving his silver and Ty is receiving his gold. But we'll get the three lads with Father John, the chaplain of Knockbeg. Before I finish up that, is there anyone I forgot? Or would anyone like a medal? We have a few spares. Megan, would you like to make your way forward, please? Just a massive congratulations to all 30 recipients of the Pope John Paul II Award for 2021-2022 from Great Cullen Collection Parish. Well done to all of you.
Being superheroes. We see them on big screens and small ones, in comic books and in toy shops, wearing their fancy outfits with capes or masks or armor. They save the world in big dramatic ways, fighting the bad guys, defending the helpless, always on the side of good. Isn't that what we do too, or at least what we hope to do? Together, we work for a better world, where the hungry are fed, the vulnerable cared for, the lonely found. We speak out against tyrants and bullies. We use our gifts in service of those with less power, trying always to answer the call of love by the faith we profess. And here is where we have learned to do that, or at least learn to do it better. And now we must teach others to do it, to go forward and lead by example. This is a sort of superhero school, and we are all invited to enroll, to choose the path of good and become the kind of heroes our world needs.
So at this point, I'm going to ask all of our JP2 recipients to now kneel, if you don't mind. And I'm going to ask everybody else to stand. And I invite Father John forward. And I'm asking you all to extend your right hand over the young person nearest to you, whether it's yours or otherwise, as Father John leads us in a very special blessing.
God our Father, send your Holy Spirit upon these young people. Be their helper and guide. Grant them the spirit of wisdom, generosity and courage. May they always seek to help those in need, offer assistance to the vulnerable and see the difference they can make through their simple acts of kindness. And finally, Lord, enable them to continue in their ministry and commitment to this parish for many years to come. We make this prayer through Christ our Lord. Amen. You can just be seated just for 1 second as well. And just to, again, thank you for being here. And again, thank you for your support. And I want to thank and acknowledge the contribution that parents make so that the children could come and get involved in their parish. And I really do appreciate it. I know you'll continue to encourage them to stay involved and to stay on their faith journey. I want to acknowledge and thank their schools. The schools give us huge support, and we couldn't have a youth ministry without the support we get from schools. I do want to welcome Miss Broderick and Miss Dwyer from St. Leo's, along with Miss Shields. Don't normally call her Miss Shields, but Anya, and Miss Aylesbury, or Sarah here behind me as well from St. Leo's. And from the presentation who's been with us, Miss Gillespie and Miss Byrne, thank you very much for being here and for your support. And I know some of the other schools sent apologies tonight. There was other things on in their schools. But I just want to also to thank everyone involved in tonight's ceremony, but in particular the youth ministry team here, because it just doesn't happen. There is a very vibrant young ministry team. And the young ministry team all came up to the ranks as being involved in the parish. And our youth ministry team is led by Katrina, and even today, as I got on many other occasions, I got a phone call from a parish priest in Maynooth hearing about Katrina, and was thinking of trying to hire somebody, and how do you go about it or whatever. And I just said, well, you won't get anyone like Katrina, really. So no matter much money you have, you won't. But Katrina was a fifth year actually in St. Leo's when I arrived, Fado, and immediately she got involved as Eucharistic minister, choir, youth choir and all of that. And she's graduated right up through, gone to college, St. Pat's, and graduated, and is now an active full-time minister, pastor worker here in our parish. And that's the way forward. I really believe that the parish can actually, pay a person that can be fully actively involved in the parish. And Katrina does amazing work, not just with young people, but right around the whole spectrum of parish life as well. And her work with the young people is just amazing, with the rotas and with the choirs and training and retreats and pilgrimages and everything she does. But she has a team now, again, young people who have come up through the system, and I just want to acknowledge and thank Sarah Aylesbury for her huge work that she's now doing here in the parish with young people, along with Gary Dowling. And Gary can't be with us tonight because sadly his uncle passed away, and he's involved out there at the wake tonight. So to acknowledge the huge work, and Hannah Keogh, another of our young ministers, is coming on board now as a youth minister, and hopefully some of you guys will come on board again in a few years' time when you get your exams over and you're out in the workplace and you're around. We would really love you to be part of our team as well. I just want to add to Katrina's words about another member of the youth ministry team, but she didn't come up to the ranks here, but she did it in other parts of the world, and that's Isabel, who is a huge support to the young people and to the youth ministry team through her work and her involvement and dedication. So I want to acknowledge and thank her as well for that. And I want to thank John Bradley again, who's always been with us for photographs and his patience with us as well. So thanks, John, for that. And I know Premier Sound who put up the lights for us as well tonight, so thank them as well. So I think that's all the thank you. So I think there's a few little clips and then a big group photograph, I think, and then please come into the parish centre, because Isabel and her team have lots of refreshments and goodies for us as well.
I promise we'll be finished by 8 with all the photos and everything. And it's not part of my plan, but have to have the last word. In all the list of people that Father John thanked, he never thanks himself, but we wouldn't like him if he did. That's probably why we like him so much, because he is so humble. And you know, and I don't need to tell all of our young people anyway, and hopefully all your parents know as well, and guardians and extended family know how lucky we are in this parish. And while you got a phone call today from a parish priest, I was also talking to a parish priest, and he asked me, how do I go about getting one of you in the parish? And my answer was, well, you need to have one of Father Dunphy first, because you have to have the vision. There's no point. There's plenty of me out there. There's plenty, they're right here in front of me. But we have to invest in our young people, and we have to invest in our parishes. And thankfully, that all happens here. And we are so lucky that it's our home. And regardless of whether you live uptown, out the country, Ireland, wherever it is you come from, this is your home. And wherever you find yourself in the next few years, always come home, and you're always going to be welcome here, and we'll continue that journey together for many years to come. But just a massive thank you to Father John for having the vision to look forward ahead of every other parish that I've ever known and worked with. And I know a lot of priests, and I know none like him, and I don't think you would either. So I would you mind, all of our JP2s, we stand up please. All the parents want to as well. Come on, get up. Might as well. We'll all go together. Right? And can we just say a massive thank you to Father John for his amazing vision, support, his guidance, and his permission to do what we do and to allow us to do it so well. And obviously, most important, for feeding us so much food over the years, and hopefully for many years to come. Thank you, Father John. Very last thing is our clip, so you can say, I know you live for this every year, you absolutely love it. And these are just photos taken from September 2021 to September, well actually just Christmas gone, all right, because you're still involved, so I kept those too. These are the last clip, and after that, don't wait to be called. All of our recipients, please come on up to the steps. We'll have our group photo, and if families want to wait around for their photo, that's absolutely fine. If you want to head straight into, that's absolutely grand too. All right, thank you.
I'll take it in, but don't look down. 'Cause I'm on top of the world, eh? I'm on top of the world, eh? Waiting on this for a while now. Paying my dues to the dirt. I've been waiting to smile, eh? The whole day. up these corners, try to take the easy way out. I kept on falling short of something. I could have gave up then, but then again I couldn't have, 'cause I've traveled all this way for something. I take it in, but don't look down. 'Cause I'm on top of the world, hey. I'm on top of the world, hey. Been waiting on this for a while now. Paying my dues to the dirt. I've been waiting to smile, hey. The whole thing for a while, hey. Take it with me if I can. Been dreaming of this since a child. I'm on top of the world. I'm on top of the world, hey.